A little homeless girl screamed at one of the richest men in the world, and he almost didn't listen. That one moment, just a few seconds, was the difference between life and death. And what happened after that? Nobody saw it coming. Marcus Hale was not the kind of man who stopped for anyone. He built his company from nothing. 12 years of 18-hour days, cold coffee, and missed birthdays. By the time he was 43, his name was on buildings. His phone never stopped ringing, and he never, not once, slowed down for anything that didn't have a price tag on it. That Tuesday morning started like every other one. Marcus was in the backseat of his car, laptop open, calls going in and out. His driver pulled up outside a small street market near the city center. Marcus needed to grab something quick before his 9 o'clock meeting. He told his assistant to wait. He would be 2 minutes. The market was busy. Vendors were setting up. The smell of fresh bread and fried food was everywhere. Marcus spotted a food stall at the corner, a man selling meat pies, fresh out of the oven, steam rising off them. He bought one without even looking up from his phone. Pulled out his wallet, handed over the cash, turned to walk back. That's when he heard it. "Stop, don't eat it." He froze. Standing just a few feet away was a little girl, maybe 8 or 9 years old. Her clothes were torn and dirty. Her shoes had holes in them. Her hair was tangled, and her face had the kind of tiredness that no child should ever have. She was staring at him, not at the pie, not at his suit, at him. Like she was terrified. Marcus looked at her. Then he looked at the pie, then back at her. He almost laughed. He almost just turned around and walked away. She was a street kid, probably trying to get him to drop the food so she could grab it. He had seen this kind of thing before, or at least that's what he told himself. But something stopped him. Maybe it was the way she wasn't moving. She wasn't reaching for the food. She wasn't asking for money. She was just standing there, frozen, eyes wide, like she had seen something that he hadn't. "What did you say?" he asked. She pointed at the pie. Her hand was shaking. "The man, he put something in it. I saw him." Marcus stared at her. "What do you mean he put something in it?" "Before you came. He was mixing something in the back. A white powder. He does it sometimes. To the ones who—" She stopped. She looked down. "To the ones who look rich." The market around them kept going. People were laughing, buying things, going about their morning. Nobody else had heard her. Nobody else was paying attention. Marcus looked back at the stall. The vendor was smiling at a new customer. Perfectly normal, perfectly friendly. But now that Marcus was actually looking, really looking, he noticed the man's eyes flick toward him for just a second, and in that second something cold ran down Marcus's spine. He did not eat the pie. He walked back to his car, pie still in hand, and called someone he trusted, an old friend who worked in the city's food safety department, told him what the girl had said, gave him the location. Then he went back to find her. She was sitting behind a vegetable stand, knees pulled up to her chest, watching him. He crouched down to her level. He asked her name. She said it quietly, Sophia. He asked where her parents were. She shook her head. No parents, no home. She had been sleeping near the market for 3 weeks, since the shelter down the road had run out of space. Marcus sat with her for a long time that morning. He missed his 9 o'clock meeting. He missed his 10 o'clock call. For the first time in 12 years, he let his phone ring. Later that day, his contact from the food safety department called back. They had tested the contents of the stall. The vendor had been arrested. Inside the back of his cart, they found a substance, a strong sedative, the kind that could knock a grown man out in under 20 minutes. He had been using it to rob customers, targeting people in expensive suits who were alone. Marcus had been the next one. When Marcus heard that, he sat down and didn't say anything for a very long time. A little girl with holes in her shoes had just saved his life. A child who had nothing, who had every reason in the world to look away and mind her own business, had screamed at a stranger in an expensive coat because it was the right thing to do. He thought about that. He thought about it a lot. Marcus was not a man who did things slowly. Within a week, he had spoken to 3 different children's organizations in the city. Within a month, he had personally funded the reopening of the shelter that had run out of space with double the capacity. He put Sophia and 6 other children from the same area into a proper housing program. With schooling, meals, and full support, he didn't post about it. He didn't put his name on a press release. He didn't want credit. He said later in one of the rare interviews where he talked about it, that it wasn't charity. It was a debt he owed to a child who had more courage, at 8 years old, than most adults he had ever met in a boardroom. Sophia, when she was asked by a reporter what she thought of Marcus, said something that people still talk about. She said, "I didn't save him because he was rich. I saved him because it was wrong." 8 years old, holes in her shoes, and she understood something that a lot of people with full bank accounts never figure out. The world is full of people who look away, people who see something wrong and decide it is not their problem, people who are too busy, too tired, too scared, or just too used to moving fast to stop for 2 seconds and do the right thing. Sophia had nothing. No phone, no money, no power, no reason to get involved. And she still used her voice. She still stepped forward. She still screamed at a stranger who didn't even look at her like she mattered. And because of that, he went home that night. There is a version of this story where Marcus keeps walking, where he dismisses the dirty little kid trying to get his attention, takes a bite of that pie on the way back to his car, and never makes it to his meeting. That version exists. It almost happened. The only thing that stood between those two stories was one small girl deciding that a stranger's life was worth more than her silence. Think about the last time you had the chance to say something, to step in, to speak up. Maybe it wasn't life or death. Maybe it was smaller than that. But you had a choice. And the question is, did you take it? Most of us don't. Not because we're bad people, but because we've been taught that it's not our business, that someone else will handle it, that the moment will pass and it'll be fine. Sophia hadn't been taught that yet. Or maybe she had and she just didn't care. Either way, Marcus Hale went home, and Sophia got a bed, a school, and a future. Sometimes the smallest voice in the room is the only one telling the truth, and sometimes the person with nothing to offer has everything you need.